guys, my name is Dee and I'm from whysocial, and I wanted to tell you a little bit of a story today about overcoming adversity. Dun, dun, dun. I want to start this video by saying that everyone has hard times in their life and there is no easy way to overcome them, and everyone deals with things differently. So my story that I wanted to talk to you today, which I don't really mention very often on social media, but when my daughter Amara was born, on the same day that I went into labour with her, my younger brother took his own life. We found out on that day, and then I went into labour. So obviously that scenario in itself was something that I wasn't expecting. We had no idea. It came out of the blue, and I'd spoken to him a few days earlier and he was really excited about being an uncle for the first time. So something that just totally blindsided me basically. And then to go into labour on the same day, I can't even explain to you how that situation was. And we had planned a really calm birth. We'd done a hypnobirth training. I'd been practicing for 4 months to make sure my hypnobirthing was going to go as planned, and obviously that happened and nothing went to plan. I can honestly say that my number one wish was that I didn't want it to happen on the same day, and literally I got into the hospital at like about 8:30, maybe 9:30, and then literally as soon as it ticked over midnight, and Kayne said, Bub, it's like past midnight, and then everything happened and she was born at 1:20. So your mind is very strong, and because I didn't want it to happen on the same day, it happened the day after. So I guess the way that I overcame that was just, I had to throw all of my expectations out the window for starters. I'm probably a pretty planned person and a pretty in control person, and that totally went out the window. What I thought was going to happen just didn't. So that's probably the number one thing in that moment. But afterwards, obviously there was a lot to deal with apart from having a newborn baby that I've never done before. Then it was obviously the emotional trauma around my brother committing suicide. So there was a couple of ways that I dealt with that, and I think it was, number one is just allowing myself the time. I was lucky enough in that point that the business that we had, our studio, was pretty much running on its own, and I didn't need to be there, because honestly, if I needed to be there, I couldn't have done it. I just did not have the mental capacity to be able to do that. Number two was to actually lean on family and friends, and in particular Kayne. So every time that I spoke about my brother after that, I got an infection, ended up in hospital, ended up on antibiotics. So I just wasn't coping, my body wasn't coping with it. So I ended up, he just said, I'll take care of everything with regards to your brother and the funeral and the arrangements and all of that type of stuff. And then I just needed to focus on looking after Amara. And number three, I think, is to have some sort of a plan about when you're going to deal with the emotion behind everything. So, and that could go across any scenario. So all of these tools can be used across any bit of adversity, whether you're going through the COVID-19 thing right at this moment, your business is shit, all of those things can be used, okay? So number three is, which I forget my train of thought right now, give me a second, is to make sure you have a plan. That's it. So that plan for us looked like we do a lot of emotional intelligence, and we really needed a platform to be able to express the emotion around my brother, and obviously how things had gone with the pregnancy, or with our labour that we had planned that didn't go to plan. So we went down within 3-4 months of Amara being born, went down and they graciously, we go do breath work with Nicholas D. Costella down in Melbourne. We're in Sydney, and they graciously let Amara come with us, and then everyone took turns to look after her while we were in sessions, which, like, I'm so grateful for them to be able to do this, because otherwise it would have been a lot longer before we could do that. So I think that was kind of the light at the end of the tunnel, is to rely on people, to make sure we have a plan, and then to allow yourself that grieving process, whatever that looks like for you. I don't think I've got any more tips than that. I still get emotional about it, obviously. It's 16 months later, but every time on the anniversary of Amara, I always know that it's the day before is my brother's anniversary as well, which is something I can't change, but is something that I am slowly dealing with and realizing that, he just lived a super full life, and he obviously knew that he wanted to go early, or he was going to go early, so he just made the most of the time that he had while he was here in his 33 years, as hard as that is for everyone else to accept. But I hope those tips are useful. You can use them across any scenario, and make sure you're doing things to look after your own well-being as well, i.e. meditation, take time for yourself, take a bath, have a cup of tea, whatever that looks like, because most people need it in times of adversity. Just take check, don't rush into any rash decisions at that point. So I hope they're helpful. If you need help with anything, pop them in the comments below, guys. I hope you have a great day.